Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Utamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki.
By regular hearing on the classes on Bhagavatam and delivering service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. The loving service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact.
Jai. All right. So we are continuing our Srimad Bhagavatam reading. Yesterday we were talking about how the yogi should take the consciousness of his mind and merge it into his pure intelligence, his unmixed, unperverted intelligence. Then into the living entity, the soul, awareness of the soul, the sakshi, the witness, and then merge the living entity into the super self, and then take the awareness of the soul and merge it into the supreme soul, from which all souls are emanating, and this is God realization. And by doing this, the fully satisfied living entity becomes situated in the supreme stage of satisfaction, so that he ceases from all other activities. So Prabhupada was talking about how to do that through the via media of devotional service. Because one, most of us are not yogis. We're not sitting here and convinced that nothing else needs to be done. Actually, I should say, none of us are the Ashtanga yogis who are sitting there practicing regulated breathing, sitting on proper asana in a forest alone, away from the family members, away from society, away from distractions, in a very peaceful, serene environment. If one was doing that, then this might be an appropriate practice. But since we are not doing that, we need the other yoga processes, starting with karma yoga to jnana yoga. Some ashtanga yoga can also be there, but really the supreme is bhakti yoga. So Prabhupada is getting right to the chase here, that bhakti yoga is the best thing. And then basically those who are victims of the circumstances of this world, they are, they're just always unhappy. They may not even realize they're unhappy. They may even think they are happy, but unfortunately everything that they are finding happiness will be taken from them as the march of time progressively moves through their life. And so unhappiness is their guaranteed destination. And because of their ignorant situation, they're also afflicted by the vices of desire, anger, lust, delusion, insanity, and enviousness. Because they don't actually understand who and what they are. And if they understood, if the mind was set into the form of intelligence, discriminating, well, what is matter, what is spirit, what is this world, who am I, what's going on, and ask the right questions and receive the right answers from the bona fide source, then one will know who the soul is. That's what first teaching Krishna gives in Bhagavad Gita. And then when the soul is understood and realized, which is a whole nother level, we can theoretically understand, yes, I'm a soul. But then every day, if we continue acting like, yes, I'm this body, I'm this mind, this is me, all of our upadhis of this world, then we actually haven't realized the soul. We just kind of, theoretically realize, but theoretical knowledge isn't really knowledge. So jnana is not, jnana needs to evolve to vijnana, where the knowledge is realized, or it's useless. So we have to somehow come to the platform of understanding who we are as a soul, and then we can also come to the platform of understanding the Lord. But this is a process. It's not to say, just merge your... Shukadeva Goswami is saying, the yogi should merge his mind by his unalloyed intelligence into the living entity, and then merge the living entity into the super self. And by doing this, he's fully satisfied. and he'll cease from all their activities. But that's an accomplished yogi. Us, we might have to, just that one step, merging the mind into a pure intelligence, might take lifetimes even, and so on. But it may be possible if we take to this process, and Prabhupada is saying how we can make so much advancement just by coming into the service of the Lord. And actually it's only by pure intelligence that the soul is brought to the service of the Lord. So this way we can very easily make advancement without being such a intense yogi or even accomplished yogi. Krishna will take care of it. But anyhow, Labdha Pashanti is he's attained. Labdha is attaining Upashanti, pure bliss, full bliss. Shanti is like peace, bliss, and he's Upashanti is like the full bliss. So Labdha Upashanti, and this is going to be this transcendental stage of Labdha Upashanti is going to be talked about in the next verse. So we'll get into this. Remember, this is when the yogi is trying to leave this world. This is what he does. He's getting rid of all of the material entanglements here, including the body, and he's ready to merge his consciousness properly into where it's supposed to be and leave this situation nicely. So we'll talk about that more today. Well, hopefully we'll let Prabhupada talk about it, and we'll just kind of share whatever small realizations are there. But what shall we do? Let's chant our Mangalacharna mantras, and then we can get into it. We're live in here, right? Mm-hmm. Is anyone on?
Deep. And someone else.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Nothing to offer. And then on to our entire lineage of bona fide gurus. Our acharyas, who are the extensions of Krishna's mercy down in this world through history, and then have now made this available to us now. And then finally, I want to offer my obeisances unto all the Vaishnavas, you guys. Obeisances to you both, and then anyone online, maybe Deepthi and whoever, the second person watching, and anyone who watches later. Vanchakalpa Tarubhishcha Kripa Sindhuvya Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So the Vaishnavas of the Lord are so merciful. They're like desire trees. They fulfill the desires of everyone. And they're so merciful. They're so full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. So I'm very fortunate in my life to have Vaishnava association and even to help spread these tenets of Vaishnavism in some small way to two people here today. Is just by us going through the Bhagavatam and applying these principles. So much actually is happening in our lives we can't even understand. But here we now start again talking about the yogi, how he takes his consciousness out of the material mind into the pure intelligence, into the soul, and then in the soul into the realization of God, and then he becomes fully satisfied in the supreme stage, and he stops all other activities. And so the process to do that, Prabhupada says, is devotional service. Your devotional activities, your bhakti, and so this is the way for ordinary persons to achieve that. But let's still hear the journey of the yogi. Manasvabudya malayani yamya kshetra gyayetang ninayettamatmani atmanam atman yavarudhya dhiro labdo pashantir virameta kritya. Oh, I just read that again. Sorry. Nayatra kalo nimishang para prabhu kuto nudeva jagatang yaishide nayatra satvang narajastamascha Navai vikaro namahan pradhanam. Hare Krishna, Craig. Thank you for joining. You guys got to make sure you take care of Craig with breakfast somehow. I don't know how it will work.
Oh, I'm not worried about that.
Well, that's our way.
Yeah.
So not yatra, wherein, kala, destructive time, animisham, of the heavenly demigods. You guys can see all right? Yeah, do that. Yeah. Para, superior. Prabhu, controller. Kuta, where is there? Nu, certainly. Deva, the demigods. Jagatam, the mundane creatures. Yea, those. Ishire, rules. Na, not. Yatra, therein. Sattvam, mundane goodness. Na, nor. Raja, mundane passion. Tama, mundane ignorance. Cha, also. Na, nor. Vai, certainly. Vikara, transformation. Na, nor. Mahan, the material causal ocean. Pradhanam, material nature. So the translation is, in a transcendental state of labdo pashanti. Labdo pashanti is like supreme bliss that was described in the last verse. Craig, if you're just catching up. There is no supremacy of devastating time, which controls even the celestial demigods who are empowered to rule over mundane creatures. And so if it's... So what to speak of the demigods themselves? Nor is there the mode of material goodness, nor passion, nor ignorance, nor even the false ego, nor the material causal ocean, nor the material nature. So what was described in the last verse, when one merges the mind into the pure intelligence into the soul, the pure spiritual entity that we are, and then merges that into the super self, the Supreme Lord, and awareness of the Supreme Lord's position and our full relationship with that Lord, then we achieve Labda Pashanti. And in Labda Pashanti, There is no supremacy of devastating time. You're what's called kalatita. You're beyond time. That's why Krishna, he said, never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor any of all these kings. Because time is it's supreme over the body. It's supreme over the mind, the impure mind. And it's supreme over the impure intelligence and impure false ego. But when you merge all of those things into their proper situation, time cannot affect that, actually. It's beyond time. So and this devastating time, this kala, it's one of the 5 main subject matters of Bhagavad Gita. So it's not a small subject matter. Kala is one of the 5 main subject matters.
What's the word?
Kala, time.
Kala.
Yes. Krishna, he says, very famously, the most, Arjuna asks, who are you? Doing this, that, and the other in his cosmic form. And he says, time I am, the destroyer of worlds, and I've come to destroy all people. And only you, the Pandavas, will come out of this. Actually, this is, this is the ultimate force that's going to make everybody unhappy. Even if they are in an illusory way feeling happy right now. Because they're not realizing the truck of time that's coming to run them over at some point. So, yes, but it controls even the demigods. We were talking, right, you were talking about Sattva-loka, that even in this highest place, still time comes for them.
Brahmaloka.
Yeah, Brahmaloka, that's it, thank you. This Brahmaloka, that even time comes for them. And so, what's to speak of us? So, nor is there the mode of material goodness, nor passion, nor ignorance. So beyond, did it give the words nirguna? No, because it talked about all of them. But these modes of nature are only in this material world. So, if you can achieve this labdho pashanti, this transcendental state, which is transcendental means above, that which is above. So if you can, what is it above? It's the material modes of nature. This is actually our problem, because this is the source of illusion in this world. Material goodness, it's just stability in this world. The stabilizing energy of the lower two, passion and ignorance, creation and destruction. So there's like a stabilizing in this world. And everyone's always trying to strive for the stable. Why? Because that's the nature of really what the soul is and what it craves. But it can't happen here. Sattva can never reign supreme here in this material world. Passion and ignorance will always come to move the world and its cycles. So even the false ego, which is identifying with the external circumstances of the world. We talked a lot about that yesterday, how we're victims of the circumstantial energies that happen around us. And, oh, my wife did this, oh, my child did this, oh, my boss said this, oh, my client did this. And next thing you know, we're tossed and turned and pulled all over the world. But our inherent spiritual stability, it's not attached, it's not connected to all these things. So anyway, this has to be understood if we really want to achieve this labdha pashanti state, or this supreme bliss state. So the false ego, it's not just the ego, the false ego. The false ego thinks I am what? What are some of the things the false ego thinks? I am this body. I am this mind. These thoughts are my thoughts, I and mine. And I am the enjoyer of this world. This world is for my enjoyment.
I should be under control.
Yes, this world should be under my control. You'll get humbled very quickly. What?
I am Indian, son of daughter of.
Yes, I am Indian, I'm American. All the upadhis of this world the eyes and minds, there is really only one I, and that's what?
I am spirit soul.
I am a spirit soul, which means I am a I'm a servant of God. I'm a servant of Krishna, because that is, I'm a part and parcel of the Lord, and I am meant to serve God. That's the real ego, is to, I'm here to serve God. But, so in this Labdha Pashanti state, that's achieved. So the false ego has been transcended. Why? Because what was the process? Mind into pure intelligence. The pure intelligence understands, as Prabhupada said in the last purport, the value of devotional service to the Lord, and in that it'll understand the position of the living entity, the Sambandha Gyan, and the process, and it'll achieve the relationship with the super self, and in there the goal of life is achieved. So this can be Labdha Pashanti, understanding this. So this is what we're trying to do. This is talking about how the yogi does this, and they actually, when leaving the body, this is what they do, merging their consciousness in one's Lord. And it's not exactly explained yet, but it would be, hopefully one's service to the Lord. So anyhow, let's continue. There's no material causal ocean. We are in nor the material nature. So this state is above this cloud of ignorance that we're all swimming in. The causal ocean, we imagine it's like physical water to us, and there may be some physical water property to it. But we're in this causal ocean of all kinds of ideas and thoughts and illusory, subtle forces that are driving everything. Our whole life and complex is just a combination of all of our subtle misconceptions that are just driving our vehicle here. So this is all composed of the material modes of nature. The false ego, the false intelligence, the false mind, and the material modes of nature, energetically pulling and moving everything with the planets and the seasons and all these things. So like this. So we'll read the purport. Come on down. No problem. So, purport. Devastating time, which controls even the celestial demigods by its manifestation of past, present, and future, does not act on the transcendental plane. The influence of time is exhibited by the symptoms of birth, death, old age, and disease. And these four principles of material conditions are present everywhere in any part of the material cosmos up to the planet Brahmaloka, where the duration of life of the inhabitants appears to us to be fabulous. Insurmountable time even brings about the death of Brahma, so what to speak of other demigods like Indra, Chandra, Surya, Vayu, and Varuna. So Brahma is like a supreme demigod. Shiva is like a supreme demigod, but even they have to go through the force of insurmountable time. So what's to speak of Indra, Chandra, the moon god, the sun god, the wind god Vayu, and the water god Varuna. So the astronomical influence directed by the different demigods over mundane creatures is also conspicuous by its absence. The graha is like a planet. The astrology, all the planets are called grahas. Graha means to grab. Why are they grabbing? Because they're controlling you, actually. Your mind is they're controlled by the moon. Your ego is controlled by the sun. Your ability to act is controlled by the planet Mars, and your ability your tendencies towards selfishness by the shadow of the moon Rahu, and so many things are, all of these things are pulling on our consciousness, but these are actually all the material modes of nature. And this is the actors in the material modes of nature. Varuna is causing the waters to move in your body. Agni is causing the fire of digestion, and so on. All of these things are controlled by higher beings, actually. But it's not present in the spiritual. There's nothing. They don't have the power to grab in the spiritual plane. So in material existence, the living entities are afraid of satanic influence. But for a devotee on the transcendental plane, there is no such fear at all. So to be influenced towards evil or wickedness or satanic influences, we always have to worry about that here. At every step, you could be sitting, wandering down the road, happily married, and then all of a sudden a beautiful woman comes, and then maybe some influence on the mind, may come. Or I don't know, you could be strolling down the road innocently and you pass McDonald's and you say, oh, maybe that looks really good, and let me go support what they've got going on in there, and they have all kinds of crazy things that are operating, their evil things that are operating their business. You don't even want to know. Even beyond just the murdering on a mass scale of animals. So anyhow, so we always have to be fearful of different temptations in this world. But in the Labdha Pashanti state, it's beyond that. There's no fear there. Fear is a result, actually, of our turning away from Krishna. But when the consciousness is fully turned to God, we're trusting everything in our experience is favorable because we're rightly situated and the Lord will respond. It always was that way, actually. The fact that it wasn't, or even to turn away from God, this is the cause of all illusion. So, the living entities change their material bodies in different shapes and forms under the influence of the different modes of material nature. But in the transcendental state, the devotee is gunatita, or above the material modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Thus, the false ego of I am the Lord of all I survey does not arise there. In the material world, the false ego of the living being trying to lord it over the material nature is something like the moths falling in a blazing fire. The moth is captivated by the glaring beauty of the fire, and when he comes to enjoy it, the blazing fire consumes him. In the transcendental state, the living being is pure in his consciousness, and as such he has no false ego to lord it over the material nature. It's a nice example. We've seen this, or that we've seen moths or bugs go to a bug zapper. It's like the same, type of thing. It looks good and it's attractive to them, but it's really the thing that's going to destroy them. So, this is with this mood of being the enjoyer or the controller or the enjoyer of that which you're interacting with. This is the very thing that'll destroy you. When you act to try to enjoy it, this is the very thing that's going to destroy you, destroy your life, and consume you. So, and leave you in a state of vishada, lamentation. In the transcendental state, the living being is pure in his consciousness, and as such he has no false ego to lord it over the material nature. Rather, his pure consciousness directs him to surrender unto the Supreme Lord, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 7:19, Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudur Labhaha. All this indicates that in the transcendental state, there is neither material creation nor the causal ocean for material nature. The above-mentioned state of affairs is factual on the transcendental plane, but is factually revealed in a transcendentalist knowledge of the advanced state of pure consciousness. Such transcendentalists are of two types, namely the impersonalists and the devotees. For the impersonalists, the ultimate goal or destination is the Brahmajyoti of the spiritual sky, but for the devotees, the ultimate goal is the Vaikuntha planets. The devotees experience the above-mentioned state of affairs by attainment of spiritual forms, for activity in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. So this is actually describing also the impersonalists. The words merging were used and things like this. So this can actually, there's the way that the impersonalists merge and achieve Labdha Pashanti, and then there's the way that the personalists merge and achieve Labdha Pashanti. So I was purposely not talking about that, and I was unsure Whether it seemed like they were talking about that, but I knew that's not the devotional conclusion, so I didn't speak on it. But now Prabhupada is speaking on it, so I'm happy to also get this clarification. So the Lord is the full. Well, sorry, what was the last sentence I read? Okay, the destination for the impersonalists is the Brahmajyoti, the spiritual sky, but for the devotees, the ultimate goal is the Vaikuntha planets. The devotees experience the above-mentioned state of affairs by attainment of spiritual forms for activity in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. But the impersonalist, because of his neglecting the association of the Lord, does not develop a spiritual body for spiritual activity, but remains a spiritual spark only, merged in the effulgent spiritual rays of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord is the full-fledged form of eternity, bliss, and knowledge, but the formless Brahmajyoti is simply eternity and knowledge. The Vaikuntha planets are also forms of eternity, bliss, and knowledge, and therefore the devotees of the Lord who are admitted into the abode of the Lord also get bodies of eternity, bliss, and knowledge. So the difference here is being described of the Labdha Pashanti states. The impersonalists, they will merge, and their their personality will be dissolved in that state of peace, in this state of, Prabhupada doesn't even call it bliss, he says of eternity and knowledge, and being free from the material modes of nature that cause all kinds of misery. But it isn't until we acknowledge the Lord and strive for the Lord that the next tier of, if you can imagine, this state of Labdha Pashanti is, if you're a big business guy, if you're in this material world dealing with karma, you're just in debt. So you might be millions of dollars in debt, and you're working your way to get out of debt. But if you achieve this Labdha Pashanti stage and you rise above the debt of this world, the material nature, you'll get to zero. And you're fully peaceful. Oh, I have no debt. I'm free. Yes.
Just back up a minute. The Brahmajyoti, those who achieve that, what's next? Because don't they eventually have to kind of fall down from that?
Prabhupada has mentioned that before, but it's hard to say because it's supposed to be an eternal situation.
Right.
Eternity and knowledge, right? So it's supposed to be an eternal situation, but there is there likely is some scope for them to not get caught in that for eternity. There hopefully, I would hope there is some scope for them to I've heard things of,
I thought we were, everybody's supposed to go back home eventually.
yeah. See, it's...
Or is that home for some?
It is described as home for some. I can tell you that. But, I've also heard that, when people ask, well, how did the jiva get in this material world? If we're pure spiritual beings, how did we get there? Apparently, this would be the place. This is the only place you could fall from. And maybe test out this material world. So this, meaning we've never achieved the loving service unto the Lord in our spiritual body, because if we did, there's no returning from that. Janma karma chame divyam evam yoveti tatvataha tyaktva deham punarjama tyaktva deham.
We thought we were, we became envious of Krishna.
Yeah, but so if you were in your spiritual body in the spiritual world serving Krishna, there's no scope to become envious of Krishna. The illusory ability to be envious is not present, because that can only come when one is turned away from Krishna. So the only falling from a spiritual position we could have come from is this Brahmajyoti stage. So
separated people too because of that.
Yeah, I mean, these are
Seemingly contradictions.
yeah, no, these have to be reconciled. There are some. There is reconciliation by like Jiva Goswami and a couple of, they talk about the fall of the jiva. But basically, the conclusion is kind of what I told you. There is no way to fall from the stage of pure service to the Lord. There's no way. I looked at Krishna and I got envious of him and I fell. Because if you've achieved that already, you've already cast aside any of the modes of nature that could ever make you envious. But
I guess I always thought it was, if you originated there, you knew nothing else, so we could become envious of Krishna, especially the gopis and all that. That's what caused the fall down. And again, I go back to my statement.
Yeah.
Prabhupada talks about back to Godhead.
Yes.
How can you go back to some place you've never been?
Yes. So as far as I know, the only place we could have falling is from the Brahmajyoti. Another option, which Jai and Vijay did in the Bhagavatam, is they fell from the position of servants of the Lord because they made an offense to the Kumaras. But it's described by our acharyas that even themselves was an act of service because they wanted to serve the Lord's Leela in this material world. So there may be opportunity like Jai and Vijay to fall into the material world as a form of service. But we should not think that's why we're here. Oh, I'm here to serve the Lord. That's why I came here as a service, But at the same time, yeah, the origin of how we got here is the great debate, how we got in this thing. But Prabhupada, he says, if you're drowning, it's better you just get to safety instead of wondering, how did I get in this position?
Yeah. Well, I even toss it up to I just don't understand.
Yeah, well, that's.
But I like to ask.
Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, Achintya Beda Tattva it's inconceivable how we can be one with and different from the Lord. Much of it is inconceivable because conception is the process of the material mind. So, but if we're trying to describe transcendental things beyond the conceptual ability, there's only so much you can conceive.
We're infinitesimal.
Yeah.
And we're trying to imagine the infinite.
Yeah, it's
Which
not.
is impossible.
Yeah, we can't fit the infinite inside of the infinitesimal capacity, unless the infinite wants to grace itself upon us, and that's what the pure devotee gets. But that's a gift of the Lord only in reward for pure devotion. So anyhow though, but these are really good questions, and I'm glad you're asking them. But I wish I had concrete answers for you, but I'm not.
No, that's okay. I
Yeah.
didn't, because I've heard so many different
Yeah.
theories and stuff,
Yeah.
which is
But
unfortunately speculation.
I know I've read a lot of. I can tell you this: a lot of the popular conceptions that were going around within ISKCON are completely bogus and wrong, in the sense that we could not have fallen from the the Vaikuntha. The only possible way to fall from Vaikuntha and above is Jai and Vijay's case, only to come as an act of service. Otherwise, there's no scope. You wouldn't get to Vaikuntha unless you were a pure
How about
devotee.
a different spiritual planet.
Yeah.
not like-
There may be some other place to fall from, and some people speculate it's the Brahmajyoti that we fell from. So
Again, that's why I asked that question.
yeah, no, it's a good
If
question.
it's an impersonalist and they think it's a merged thing,
Yeah.
how can you become envious of something you don't realize exists or believe exists?
Yeah, well, even now, what comes to my mind is that even just that not even believing in the personal form of the God that's the form of envy. That's the to disregard or altogether. But like I said,
No, I know, we're speculating.
yeah, it's all speculation. But even this here, it's saying Labdopashanti. This stage is above the modes of material nature, so it should also be above envy. Prabhupada was talking in the last purport that Every living being is serving the dictates of desire, anger, lust, illusion, insanity, and enviousness, all materially affected. But if the stage, even the impersonal stage, is saying there's no material goodness, passion, ignorance, false ego, the material causation, nor the material nature, envy is included in that. So yeah, maybe that's their thing. That's they're meant to be impersonal sparks. It's certainly possible. It's described as an eternal situation. Prabhupada's even describing they don't achieve the full bliss, but they do achieve eternality. So maybe that's their thing. I don't know.
But I remember statements, and I read this, where Prabhupada actually said he was asked, you know, if we go back home, can we fall again? Because you can, but you won't.
So
I'm just, you know, again, putting pieces together that.
Yeah, but that actually even makes sense, because if you can, you won't, because you don't have the capacity to envy Krishna, but you can, like Jai and Vijay, out of service. You know, like Jai and Vijay, they came because...
I took it as we learned from all of this material existence, that when we went back home, we don't want to revisit that, so that's why we won't fall.
Yeah, and if we will, that's certainly true. And then if we do fall, which is possible, but it would only be as a service, you know. And what was the service Jai and Vijay did? They knew that the Lord wanted to enjoy what? Vira-ras. Vira-ras means the ras of heroism, meaning fighting. But if everyone's a pure devotee in the spiritual world, who will you fight? Who is he? How can he fight? So he has to come here to fight. But also, imagine like you going into a kindergarten class and say, "Oh, I want a box. Give me the best one, the box." You'd be a lunatic. So the only persons that could fight the Lord, nicely, are devotees of the Lord. So Jai and Vijay had to come, and that's why they took the forms of Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, Ravan, Kumbhakarna, and Shishupal, Dantavakra, and so on. So, like this. But these are all, semantics. And I wish I could tell you concretely,
That's fine, it's just questions that...
No, these are amazing questions,
when
actually.
When I hear and read stuff like this, it brings those questions up.
Yeah, no, I also have a lot of the same questions, and I personally, you're inspiring me. I would love to hear some of the answers of these questions.
And then perhaps it's just that Krishna is not revealing that to us yet because we're not ready for it.
Certainly it's that, but if we ask the right question to the right personality, we might be able to get the right answer. If it's the right personality, we will get the right answer. But I'm not the right personality to give you that answer. But I have heard some things that may be helpful in solidifying some...
Well, what you said about, because a lot of it stemmed this was the whole Brahmajyoti mentality.
Yeah.
That's because I've heard that discussion before. So it just makes me, because you may have something that you know that I've never heard before.
Yeah, I've only heard a couple things, and I pretty much explained everything I heard, but it's still left unanswered for me. How exactly and where exactly we fell from, what was the state we were in, how could that material mode of nature of envious towards God come? Or maybe it just be, just the desire to enjoy materially, or just be the enjoyer, just the spirit of maybe wanting to be the enjoyer. Maybe that's the original envy towards God, maybe without even acknowledging God's supreme existence. I don't know. But these are some things that we could...
And I'm fearful to some degree because over the years, I've seen where some people, when they get into these kind of discussions, they cast doubt and they fall down. And I don't want that to happen.
Yeah, well, that's...
I'd rather just say, okay, forget it, I'll go be in Maya for a while. I don't want to go there.
Yeah, well, so no, but this is actually your sacred duty, because if you are sincere, what's going to happen is doubts are going to definitely come. Well, how is this like this? How is this like this? Because ignorance is not bliss, right? We can't just I'm going to ignore that and I can be blissful like this, But no, unless you reconcile that doubt, that's why a guru is needed, because unless you get that doubt reconciled, you'll inevitably definitely fall away from devotional service. You can't fully absorb yourself if you have some doubt. And so that's the sacred relationship between guru and disciple, that until you can find somebody who will remove all of your doubts, because we have so many doubts. And if we had no doubts, we would be fully situated 100% of the time in service to Krishna. But because that's not the case, we have some doubt as to why not to do that. So we're saying, if it was fully in our consciousness that, yes, I know exactly what to do, I can be observed in Krishna consciousness fully like this, we would always do that. But because we have doubts as to, how and why to do that, we do everything else. So,
well, even Arjuna, Krishna put him in illusion temporarily.
Yes.
So he was lamenting in sentiment and all that about killing his guru and relatives.
Yeah, and just even so, he had to show the process. Go to the Transcendentalist. Krishna was the transcendental personality, and he revealed and he clarified all his doubts. And that's why he said at the end, with the verse we did on Sunday, Kachire touched your tongue, Partha. Have you heard this with one pointed attention, O Parth? Kachira jnana samoha. Has your ignorance, meaning your doubts, and samoha, your bewilderment, pranashtaste dhananjaya, has it been dispelled, O conqueror of wealth? And Arjuna said yes. So then he said, okay. But if he said no, Prabhupada said he was ready to explain the whole Bhagavad Gita again so that it clears his doubt. But that's the sacred duty of Guru. He will clarify your doubts. So I myself, you've just helped arise a doubt in me. Like, well, how do we reconcile this? So.
Well, especially if it makes us want to delve further into the books and things of that nature and seek, from our gurus or whatever.
Yeah, you need to clarify these things. If you don't clarify them, it will always remain some obstacle in your spiritual life to really fully commit to it. Because you're just like, well, it doesn't really make sense. Do I really want to commit to something that doesn't really make sense?
Sometimes for me it just ends up, I just figure I don't understand yet. Krishna just hasn't given me the facility to understand.
Yeah, and that's great, actually, to have that realization. But at the same time, all these doubts, they'll have to be dispelled, so that'll, hopefully we find the right personality who can do that. So anyway, that's why we search for Guru or the Sadhu, because they can do. So let's read this, finish this though. The Vaikuntha planets are also forms of eternity, bliss, and knowledge, and therefore the devotees of the Lord who are admitted into the abode of the Lord also get bodies of eternity, bliss, and knowledge. As such, there is no difference between one and another. The Lord's abode, name, fame, entourage, etc. are of the same transcendental quality, and how this transcendental quality differs from the material world is explained herewith in this verse. In the Bhagavad Gita, 3 principal subjects have been explained by Lord Sri Krishna, namely Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. But one can reach the Vaikuntha planets by the practice of Bhakti Yoga only. The other 2 are incompetent in helping one reach the Vaikuntha lokas, although they can, however, conveniently take one to the effulgent Brahmajyoti as described above. So, yoga can take you to the Brahmajyoti, especially Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga. Karma Yoga, you may have some supreme conception of a God, but it's impersonal. You don't have... if you had the real personal realization of the God, you would serve Him with devotion and bhakti. But because we don't, we just kind of understand the fate and the grand cosmic scheme of things.
So
then we
say the universe.
Yeah, the universe, like that. So then we practice karma yoga, which means I'll take my my work. I won't try to enjoy it, but I'll just try to do for the welfare of all, and I'll try to do what I think God wants me to do, maybe what the scriptures want me to do, and so on. And that will help you raise to jnana yoga, where you're no longer associating. You're distinguishing between this is matter, this is spirit, this is going to lead to misery, this is going to lead to my elevation and peaceful situation, and you start choosing the right choices and becoming more sattvic. But that can only take you to the Labdha Pashanti stage of the Brahmajyoti. But only in Bhakti Yoga, by developing a personal conception of God and striving to serve that God, will the realms where that personal Lord can reveal Himself and give that service opportunity will only open up there. So Yeah, these are really
Question I have just even recently, reading and listening to things about Bhakti Yoga. In some cases, it seems like you have to do this and be like this and be like this before you can really practice Bhakti Yoga. But then again, other things I read or see says, no, just do this and that's Bhakti Yoga.
yeah.
So there's some vagueness.
Yeah, well, you should understand, and I know I can help you with this one, that the Bhakti Yoga that will conquer the material world is pure Bhakti Yoga. Actually, Bhakti Yoga is the Swarup Shakti of the Lord. It's the spiritual energy, is Bhakti. It's the very thing empowering all processes of yoga.
So there are different levels of Bhakti Yoga?
Yes. So basically there's what's called Mishra Bhakti. So there's Karma Mishra Bhakti, which you like, we're all doing some Mishra Bhakti here. We have some devotion to Krishna here, or we wouldn't come here and wouldn't do any of this. But we may also have some desires for the fruits of our results to enjoy to some degree. So I want to do bhakti, but I also want to enjoy. So that's called Karma Mishra Bhakti. Most of us are Karma Mishra Bhaktas. Then there's the level of Bhakti Yoga where you may realize that no, people who want to enjoy, that's foolish, and that actually leads to a miserable state, and it's not good. But you may also be Jnana Mishra Bhakti, where you want to serve the Lord, but you also get enjoyment subtly through to know things. Oh, I enjoy knowing. I love knowing all the mysteries and this, that, and the other thing. And you get so absorbed in the knowing that you're not actually really interested in the service. You like serving the Lord because I want to know more stuff. I like knowing. I like having this, going through life like on a cheat code, and I know exactly what to avoid, exactly what to do. I like knowing all these things. I have this tendency to enjoy the knowing of things. But actually, even this can't take you to the Vaikuntha. It's only when anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karma dhyanavartam. So when there any other desire of karma, jnana, or even renunciation yoga, and until that's free, then anukulyena Krishna anushilanam, the favorable service towards Krishna, anukulyena Krishna anushilanam bhakti utama. This is pure bhakti. So only in this state where nothing else, you don't want any other thing. So in that way, in order to get to that stage, we need to learn from a person who's like that. But we are coming from a mixed platform. Everything you're doing is good. Krishna doesn't say, good verses for you would be in the 12th chapter. He says, well, if you could always absorb your consciousness in me and do this, and this, be on a pure platform, this is best. But if you can't do that, at least follow the rules and regulations of the Bhakti Yoga scriptures. And if you can't do that, then at least, try to meditate upon me. And if you can't do that, and then he gives the progression. So there's a place for everyone to go. But for us, the process is Vaidhi Bhakti. We should understand, you have had some experience where associating with Prabhupada's devotees really made a really deep impression on you. So you started studying Prabhupada's books, and you started making advancement through reading Prabhupada's books and so on. And if you keep doing this, you'll keep making gradual advancement. But to maybe take that next step, you might have to actually associate with the living Bhagavat, who is actually the living, embodiment of those teachings, and can show you all of the subtleties personally. And we'll be able to answer all your questions, remove all your doubts. And by associating with that personality, then the next tier and maybe the next level of Bhakti Yoga that you haven't had access to yet will open up. So that's our process. So
Well, I do understand it's a process.
Yeah. But we should understand there's two. I was just reading this in Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Chaitanya Shikshamrita, that there's two processes to make advancement in bhakti. There's the gradual process, which everyone has to follow. That's following the scriptures, trying to do your due diligence in studying who Krishna is, what Krishna wants from us, hearing from teachers in this regard. But then there's the immediate process. But you're only very fortunate to have, and the immediate process is when you meet a living embodiment of that. And just by associating with that personality, they'll like skyrocket your bhakti. But that's only by good fortune. You can't just, you can't control these personalities. Yeah, you can't manufacture that. It's only by pure good fortune. But if you understand that, you may try to associate with such personalities who could potentially be like that. And then on the other, and then otherwise, if that's not available, because it is rare, even us, when such rare personalities come, we're all taking trips July 29th to go meet a very nice disciple of Srila Prabhupada. She did many paintings. Jadharani was her name. So she's doing a program up in Bhaktabandha. So we're all traveling like 3 hours, including everyone here, because, we know in her association we're gonna be elevated. So like that, you might have to try to position yourself, but otherwise you keep reading, keep doing what you're doing, keep enhancing your services with the knowledge that you're given, and you'll keep making gradual advancement. But if there's an opportunity for a super boost, take it. Yeah, take the super boost. So we're going to go get a super boost on the 29th. We like to invite personalities here. I know for me, I've never met anyone. I've asked many questions to many different personalities, but usually I get a lot of lingering of doubt still. But Prem Prayojan Prabhu was one of the best people I've ever met. Just spelling like... He's Prem Prayojan Prabhu. I don't know. His picture is right there. He's the devotee there. We had a festival with him. Yes, Venugopal's guru. He's living in Miami. He's serving at this ashram of this, this disciple of Prabhupada, Jadharani, who's coming. He's serving there actually in Miami. So, but anyway, yeah. So, if you meet somebody, I couldn't even believe, I remember I had so many doubts and things like that. And I remember not this year, but 2 years ago, Prem Prayojan Prabhu, he sat there and I was like, because I thought I knew so many things. And I was just going back and forth, and he was just smashing my doubts, like just completely obliterating my doubts. And I felt like, for 2 hours, and I felt like a complete idiot. And to me it was like, we're like, well, Prabhupada described it when he met Bhaktisiddhanta, that he felt like defeated by Bhaktisiddhanta, but he felt happy about it. Right. And I actually felt like that too, because I was putting all my doubts and I was saying, well, this is, and all my misconceptions, and he just smashed every one of them so thoroughly with Shastra, with everything. And I was just like left feeling like an idiot and speechless, and all I could do was just like bow, because I just like really, so that may happen sometime in your life where you'll just like, what is going on here, and that it was a really notable experience for me. I've never been so like thoroughly defeated in like my understanding of things. But I was so happy about it, actually. I felt like, wow, like this is amazing. What just happened to me here? Yeah, and I crave more of that. And it's happened more times. I've asked him many more other questions, and I thoroughly, and I've asked many people these questions, not just him. I've asked Vaisheshika Prabhu questions. I've asked my Guru Maharaj many questions. I've asked other sannyasis the questions, but I've had no one quite answer them in such a way that I had that experience like Prem Prayojan Prabhu. So I like to ask Prem Prayojan Prabhu those questions. So because it's such a what? Yeah, I don't care. who's watching Mantra Central? But anyway, even if they are, what am I? Should I hide my experience?
Well, no, I think it's a good thing to work with.
Yeah, I mean, it's the pure bhakti process.
We're truly after the answer, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean,
as to why we're here, what we're supposed to be doing, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
There's no bad questions.
Yeah, and sadhus are all on the same team. If a sadhu is a sadhu, they should want everyone to reach sadhu status. So they're not like, oh, well, you should never ask someone else, or oh, is he in my organization? Or no, that's not sadhu. That's not real sadhu sangha consideration. Sadhu sangha is like, all right, well, what's the organization? We're the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, meaning we're the International Society for the Truth. And so if someone is a sadhu and giving the truth, no one should ever be like discouraged. Oh, why would you hear the truth from him? No, whoever's getting the truth, you should hear the truth from. Like many devotees did this for Haridas Thakur. He's a Malecha. Why would you hear the truth from him? Because he's giving it at the highest level. That's why. So yeah, there shouldn't be any considerations of, to me, it doesn't make sense. So I won't.
Well, just to be honest, I mean, you helped answer some of my questions today.
Yeah, and anything I helped, I've heard these things.
Moved up.
Yeah. So this is the thing. But we should end here. But yeah, this is the process. And just to kind of get back to it, this state that's desirable is labdopashanti, but Prabhupada is talking about there is the impersonal labdopashanti, and then there's the personal, and they're heaven and hell difference actually. It's the difference between getting out of debt to get $0 to becoming a multi-billionaire. It's a heaven and hell difference, actually. But, yes, how we get there, that's going to be through the process of bhakti yoga. And there's the gradual process, like what we're doing now, studying the books, listening to the commentaries of Prabhupada, doing our daily practices, increasing them and enhancing them. And then there is the immediate way, where if you just somehow or other meet a sadhu of a high caliber, they'll just skyrocket you. And if that's the case, you're just very fortunate. And if you can try to put yourself in a situation where you can be very fortunate, which is why, when devotees who are advancing, they start to branch out. I got to go hear from this sadhu here. I got to go hear from this sadhu here, because they're just trying to get under the waterfall and collect as much water as they can. And so that's our process. So anyway, Craig, if you want to take a trip with us the 29th, it's a Wednesday. There may be scope. I think your son was thinking of going with his wife. So, and you might really appreciate it. She made so many amazing paintings for Srila Prabhupada. That and love. Yeah, she went by Jadharani. She was also a little controversial, and now she goes by Shamarani because she got a nickname from Narayan Maharaj and things. Anyway, so there's a whole thing. But but she's she's really amazing, and I feel really grateful to her, because it was by good fortune. It was supposed to be like a 20 to 30 minute meeting with her, me and my wife and her. Years ago when we visited Miami, and it turned into almost like a 4-hour just question and answer. She was just blowing my mind actually at the time. And so I'm really grateful, because
And where is that?
she's in Miami.
Oh, you're going to Miami?
We're going to Ellenville, New York, because that's where the program is. She's been in New York City, but going to New York City is a little difficult for us. But Ellen...
She hasn't traveled for like 5 years because her health is very fragile, so this is like a very rare opportunity. Just give you a scope. Yeah.
Yeah, but she's leading a program the 29th of July. So we're going to go, as a whole ashram, many of us are going to go. And so... yeah, so I know there's a lot of people are looking to go. Yeah, Jagadish was going to go. So anyway, might be an interesting experience for you.
It will be late, but it will be late.
You can even stay over there. You can if you call them, they can have they can secure you a room. I think it's like $75 a room or something, but it's not bad at all. And then it's cheaper than an Airbnb, and and you support the devotees, and you stay overnight, eat prasad there, and then you can. do morning program in the temple. So anyway, you might be something interesting for you, and your son should be there. So if all goes as planned, so we'll see. But anyway, Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.